All right. Hey, how's everybody doing today? It is Monday, the 27th of January. Can you believe it? We've had some really fun streams. We've had some amazing user feedback. So online, I have a lot of great people watching me on stream, I guess, on YouTube. So thank you, anybody who's been watching me. And some of the recommendations now are, hey, I hear a lot about him getting stuck in loops, And yesterday I got some comments. I decided to write down something about what users have been asking. And this happens with a lot of my students. This happens with me. This happens with anybody that uses DAW software, which is digital audio workstation recording software. And it happens with a lot of people who use modular synths. It happens with people that use electron boxes. The problem is that a lot of us start writing music and I would say we get lazy. And I'm not trying to be like a jerk or anything like that, but we write something and then I don't know what happens. You've been working or you're thinking about your day and your focus really isn't in the next, what I say, element, and this is removal. So one technique is reductive that I wrote, and one that I wrote down below it is, and I don't know if you can read this, it says additive, right? So there are two techniques that I teach for people to get out of making a loop. And this is the easiest way. So the idea that this could be common from some people, but others might think this is kind of dumb. This is what I'm going to show you today. So we're going to talk about how to get out of a loop, okay? So after some user comments, and I really appreciate it, from what I'm hearing, it's like my biggest problem is I get stuck and I can never get out of it, right? So I'm going to leave this piece of paper hopefully here, and it's not going to move. And when I say, how are we going to do this? How are we going to get out of being stuck? That's what we're going to talk about, right? We're going to think the first thing is what I call reduce, and we make the loop first, and then instead of making a loop and then nothing, we're actually going to make a loop, and then we're going to make a couple patterns, right? And I did this yesterday with somebody when I was writing music, and I'm going to write down what I'm talking about. We talked about using a notebook and the importance of it, having a marker or pen or something that you like writing with, and then writing your thoughts out on the paper, because this will tend to make everything a lot better. So if I could be like, all right, what am I going to do first? I'm going to pick the key. I'm going to pick the BPM. I'm going to pick the genre, right? And this is going to help us kind of quickly get to this spot that we're at, right? So if you want to write along with me at home, you're more than welcome to. I always appreciate people following along, or if you watch the video later, and you want to pause it and then do what we're doing. You could also play in key like I'm doing. There's nothing wrong with that, right? So I'm going to pick something a little different that I might not normally do, right? Because I don't know what to do. I'm going to say 120. I'm going to pick the key of B flat major, and I'm going to say house music, right? And then we'll get some ideas as I kind of progress with this, but I'm going to write to you how I'm going to do the key signature. So I'm like, okay, B flat major, B flat, C, D, E flat, F, G, A, B flat, right? And I do the Roman numerals for everybody because this might help you if you don't practice a lot. And this is the Roman numerals, and it tells us what's major, what's minor, and our half diminished. And then past that, there's more stuff. The 9 is happens to be here, 11 and 13. So I always etch those in as well, because those seem to be hot spots for jazz people. You don't have to know that. This isn't like a quiz, right? And then the thing I taught on another clinic in online class is something called modal interchange, okay? And it's really a way to make music that other people really might not have written before, or that, is harder for someone else to just write because you're not writing in one key. So I superimpose another key signature over top of this key. Now, me doing that, I'm going to just make it easy for everybody to follow along. And I'm going to pick C major. So I'm going to say B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B. And when I write it out like that, we got to remember C is offset from that because this is the 1, this is the 2. And it's fun because we can just borrow a chord from a different key when we see fit. Okay? And that's our half diminished. Okay, so you don't have to do it this way. And the first part of this is what I called the reductive technique, right? So if we were looking at the piece of paper, we would know how to follow along. And let's do it. Let's make it now. We're here. We're about 7 minutes in. And thank you for being in the stream. Here we go. Okay, so we wrote our 2 keys. And this is what I call modal interchange because I can borrow one from anywhere I want. Right, I'm going to make house music, so I'm going to get in my sequencer. I'm going to pick a new pattern, right? And so our first pattern, I'll make this A5, right? And I'm going to do it fresh with you guys, so if I mess up, I mess up. I don't care. And now it's like, the idea is we're going to make house music at 120. So my sequencer, I go to the tempo, and then I'm going to name this track house. So the first thing I do is I name the pattern. You may want to do that in your DAW, and what I mean is like save it. So you're like, yeah, I'm actually going to make something, and I'm just going to say house. So the quicker you save it too, what happens on these boxes is at least I know that the patterns are interrelated. And so I would say for my brain, when I use another pattern later, I'll know that all the house ones are the ones that go together. So here we go. We got them named house, and then I'm going to say yes. And then boom, it's named house. Now, what I'm going to do really quickly is I'm just pick a couple chords. I'm going to make sure these are 4-bar patterns instead of 1 bar. So in Electron's world, 4 bars is what I like to do. And I have a 303 next to me, and I did this on purpose because not only am I going to do this, right, the remove element, I'm going to teach everybody something that I call A, B. And Roland, thank God, like a 303, they taught me it. This is a TD3, which is a clone of it, and we'll learn what an A-B pattern means in a minute. Okay, so this box I'm going to mute so we don't hear it. I've cleared this sequencer, which is the XY we'll use for a sound maybe later. And then now we're going to pick our first couple chords. Now, I'm going to pick a 2 chord right away. I'm going to pick a 3 chord, and I'm going to pick a 1 chord. Okay, now I do this really fast. And I do this so everybody's like, all right, well, I understand. He just picked chords. And these are all the ones that were in B flat. So I'm like the 2, I'm like the 3, and I'm like the 1. And I can write like B flat major 7, so I know that that's what's happening down here. And quickly, like I said, this isn't going to take long. What if you got a half hour before work? So really quickly, I'm like, okay, a 2, 3, 1. So now in Electron, I'm just going to make sure I'm playing in key for you guys, so everything is in the key of C, or B flat, sorry. And then boom, and then I'm going to say Ionian, quantize. Now, if I do a 2, 3, 1, it's that easy, okay? I'm not joking. And I did it on purpose. The kick drum, house music, you know how this goes, 4 on the floor, and I got to do that 4 times. And the way drummers think is at the end of the 4th bar, we actually have a little bit more stuff going on. So I'm going to say more and more. So our drums are going to sound a little developed. I'm going to actually put a snare drum, right? Yep. And then really quickly, like I said, it's at 120, right? So house music is what I picked. Now, I did that really quick, so I'm not sitting in front of my DAW with my, what do I do? Right? And there we go. And I'm listening for where the 1 in the beat is too. So when I hit play, 2, 3, and on that second beat, I can actually put another pickup, and then I'm going to say track 2. I'm going to do the snare drum. All right, so let's see what's happening. So see how easy that was? And I pitched the snare down a little bit. It was a little high for my taste, right? Okay, so quickly I made that happen. Now, if you're wondering what I did, like I said, at that 4th tick, I add a couple sounds, right? And now when I'm ready over here, I'm waiting for the first bar. All right, and so I'm gonna hit record. Literally, it's just gonna be that easy. Okay, so I'm gonna pick a little bit of a different sound. This is like my Juno 106 sound, I call it. Okay, now I'm gonna make a couple more elements because that's what we're working on right now, okay? And the idea is I want a couple elements so I have stuff to remove. That's what reductive is. So I'm gonna be hi-hats, right? And hopefully this is just gonna work. See, I mute everything before I bring it on. I'm used to playing live, right? That means like when I'm ready, like I didn't just like ruin it for the crowd or whatever. And so you can mute things, right? And now I'm gonna do a bass line. So the next thing is the second element, bass, right? And I already have like a string sound, so it's drums, strings, and bass, right? So it's just gonna be that fast, right? And so bass. And I gotta make sure that I'm quantized to the right scale. Yeah, there we go, yes. On. And now with bass, it's super easy too, because I'm just gonna follow the notes. Ready? 5, 4, 3, 2, 2, 3, 1. Right, that easy. I just made it simple, right? And I can turn up. Right, now what gets a little more interesting to keep this from being so boring is adding a filter, right? So I filtered the bass, and I'm gonna put a filter on that synth, right? And then I'm gonna add a little bit of swing to the beat. So swing in house is kind of a little nice because it shifts the beat. And the hi-hats aren't interesting enough. So I pick the open hi-hat, and we're gonna unmute some stuff. So some drum elements. And I play these live. It's better for me to do that. Honestly, I vibe a lot better when I try to like play things live, and I slightly quantize it, like maybe 74%. So it's not perfect, right? And now I'm gonna pick another track. I'm gonna pick like a tom-tom, right? So this is gonna have like a tom-tom sound. Ready? So I'm recording. I put a tom like towards the end. Right, at the end of the bar, and I'm gonna pitch the tom down. Sorry, that was terrible. Okay, now, alright, this might not be the best pattern on earth, but like, I can add one more really interesting sound that sounds like something's gonna break. Yeah, and this is like my, kind of broken sound. And I'm gonna filter down that hi-hat a little, because it's a little too in the mix. Alright, so here we go. So I'm going to record one more sound so it doesn't sound so cheesy, right? And I think I didn't quantize that, sorry. Yep. Okay, one more time. 5, 4, 3, 2. So that new sound will help this not sound so corny, right? All right, I'm gonna pause for a second. We got 3 elements. We got a bass, we got some strings, we got drums. I actually did a 4th element. If anybody was paying attention, it was like a synth. Okay. And the other thing is a 303 is in every type of house music. Okay, that's why I have it here. Truth be told, I kind of knew what I was going to do, just because I like to kind of have everybody prepared. But 303 is what we're looking at, and the 303 has A and B. It has 2 like parts built into it, so I can make a bass line that has like one kind of feel, and I can make one that has another kind of feel. And jokingly, it's only 16 steps, and you can only make it so complicated. But the thing that people don't teach you who program 303s online, so this is a secret, is where the rests are. Because if you put like a really cool rest in your 303, it's off. It's like the coolest thing you can do, okay? And I'm going to show you that secret right now. And a 303 is really hard to program because it's not like modern sequencers that are like record, play your thing, have fun. It's more like I have to think like a computer. And right now I'm going to think like a computer. I'm going to talk out loud while I program it, and you're going to hear like the thought process on programming 303. So I clear the first pattern and I clear the B pattern. I know I'm playing a 2-3-1, so I just bubble around B flat. I'm going to play some B flat notes. It does not have to be precise, what I tell people. And the first thing you do is you lay down the feel of your groove. And this is like the gates, like when the notes fire. So I'm going to say time mode, and I'm going to say 1, 2, 3, rest, 1, 2, 3, rest, 1, 2, rest, rest, 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to say 4 all the way to the end. So there's 16 steps. 1, 2, 3, rest, 1, 2, 3, rest, 1, 2, rest, rest, 1, 2, 3, 4 is what I did. Okay. And now I'm going to pick the notes that I did in that, and then they're all going to be B flat. So all I got to do is start on B flat, right, and touch the note. And I'm going to make sure that this sequencer has the mixer on. Yeah. Okay. So we should hear that first note. I played one note. I'm going to play another note, another note, another note, another note, another note, another note. So this is just like I said, it does not have to be precise. You know, it's just me playing and that. Okay. All right. And I'm done. Okay. So I played enough notes. Hopefully. Okay. So now when I go back and I play pitch mode, first note, I'm going to make lower. Next note, lower, accent slide. Lower. There's a rest, so that note doesn't matter. Bass, I'm going to make a lower. Accent slide. Lower. Accent slide. Higher. So this note's going to act funny as hell, and I'm going to accent it. Rest. And it's like note, note, rest, rest. And then it's going to be... This is all the way home now, the last 4 notes, yep. And now here we go. Let's see what ended up happening. I'm going to kind of turn this down, and I'm going to mute these sounds. And hopefully... Okay, now, I love the sound of this machine, and honestly, a little bit of delay. And when we start turning on this house beat, it's going to be insane. I love it. Like house magic. And when we start bringing in these other sounds, you guys, it's kind of hard to believe it's going to sound to me this cool. It's like the sound of house, right? So we got a good bass line, we got some chords, and I got that real fun A-flex sound, I say. So this is like how I like to make music, right? We're going to add some of these elements. But it's literally that easy. It's just a 2-3-1, right? The idea that I picked house and that I have some pretty cool sounds is kind of like the key to quickly getting to music. So like, you got to have a day when you're looking at your presets, and you got to have a day when you're practicing making drum beats, and you got to have a day when you're practicing your music theory, and then you have a day where you put all that together. Okay, so this is not just like one day of work. This is a lot of work that builds up to this, because the other problem humans have is they're just going to go look at presets for an hour. And if you've noticed what I've done in the last 20 minutes, right, I have not like paused. I haven't sat here looking for sounds. I haven't done anything that's taken me a long time. The hardest thing was maybe programming the 303, right? And now that we have everything ready to go, I can do my reduce technique. So the first pattern we named house, I'm going to copy everything the way that it is. And there's another trick in the electron world that I'm going to share with everybody. There's a purple mute group that mutes per the pattern. Right, and I'm going to do that here too, because I did mute some things, and in purple, yep. So now when I hit play, this is my first pattern, right? This is everything in the loop, right? Right? And so I'm going to copy the way this is, and I'm going to go to the next pattern. It's going to be like Right, so I just pasted that pattern again, right? And I'm going to reduce. I'm going to bring away, right? And I'm going to add this weird sound I got. Nah, maybe not, like this, right? And then the next pattern, same thing, copy. We're going to go to another pattern, and we're going to paste, right? So here we go, 5, 4, 3, 5, 4, 3, 2. Right, and so right now, same thing. I can say paste. And I'm going to get rid of those hi-hats, right? And so now, we're just going to have like tom breakdown. Right, I'm going to unmute these guys, and we're going to record another part. So this is our third part. Yeah. Fixing the notes where I played them. Right? The other thing is, right now, I reduced. Right? So if I want to go back to this main part of the song, 5, 4, 3, and let's see, it's this one. Remember? It's going to have everything. 5, 4, 3, 2. Right? And so this has to be the easiest way to make a song. Right? Now you're kind of stuck in the loop that you've played, right? Here we go, 2, 3. And the other thing you can do now is automate stuff, right? Like have things move around. That third sound, right? If I'm here and I want to automate a parameter, just making the distortion automate, right? So it's more active. And then I'm going to go here and I'm going to filter something, right? Watch this. So there's going to be this weird filter thing. And I'm also going to filter that open hat because that's been the same for too long. You're going to notice this pattern is going to get pretty active. Right? See that? And now I'm going to go to the last part where everything kind of breaks. All right, so that was the easiest way to show what I call the reductive technique, where you build everything in the beginning and then you slowly bring things away depending on what pattern you're actually making. So that might have been like the easiest way. We didn't have to write a bunch of chord changes. Now we can make other parts now that have less chords or more chords. You know, you can choose other breaks. You can spend a lot more time working on that too. But again, I just want to cover one method that I like is like actually bringing something from a bunch of stuff to like remove an element to like remove an element, right? So the easiest way to do it, right? Now, the other way I wrote was like the additive way where you actually like write things and you progress forward. And now the idea would be, okay, well, what does that necessarily mean? Well, we can pick a new pattern, right? I'm going to pick a different tempo. I'm going to say 140, right? And I have, my sinuses are pretty messed up. So like 145, I hit play. Sorry about the 303, right? And then here, what I can end up doing now is go into the first track. Right, this is super easy, right? So I'm just right, super easy beat, right? And then the same thing, like if I just wanted to stick to like a similar idea, like really quick, we're just gonna write the additive technique, okay? And this isn't a joke. Okay, so you get somewhere, you're like this, name your pattern. This one's gonna be dub. Yes, yes, clear, clear. And then quickly it's like dub, boom, boom, And again, remember, I just do this so I don't get my things confused, my patterns on this device. It's so easy to get lost in these boxes. They're so deep. Okay, and like literally the same thing I did before, super easy. I'm not trying to make this tough on anybody. Yeah, okay, so I like this. Right, so this is going to be really easy. And I'm going to make it 4 bars long. Alright, and then I'm going to sync everybody, hit record. And we were kind of working on that 2-3-1 style, right? So I'm not going to change. That easy, right? And so let me just... Alright, I'm going to filter this down with another filter, and it's literally that easy. Let's see. So it's that easy to get something going, right? And now if I say next pattern, copy, right? You know, the idea now is we're going to keep adding. Like the idea is that as this is running, that pattern, that dub pattern that I made, super easy. Like you can do this at home. It's not like something that takes you an hour to do. That's why I show you these quick, they're so fast. Like it shouldn't take you any time, right? Boom. And then all of a sudden, when you're recording, same thing we're gonna do now. I'm just remaking the pattern. We're gonna build it again. So the building it different ways, that's what I do. I try not to build it with the same sounds, right? And the idea that if I do this a couple different ways, it's actually gonna sound different and cool every single time, right? I'm actually going to add a couple more things. All right, super easy, right? And that idea now that here I am. Same idea. Now we're going to build the next pattern. So I'm going to copy, function, copy, right? Pattern, function, paste. All right, so now I'm adding my next sound. So additive, I'm just going to keep adding sounds as I keep going, right? It's not like I'm trying to be annoying with this, but you see how fast it like kind of happens? It almost happens before your eyes. Like if you keep getting stuck on worrying that every pattern has to be like perfect, like it doesn't. Like the next thing you play, does it have to be like the best thing on earth? No, it doesn't. You just got to keep playing and finding sounds. Yep, that fast. Boom. Fourth, fifth sound. Ready? 1, 2. And I'm doing it as silly as I kind of can on purpose. Sorry. All right, stop. So every time I did it that time, I added something. Okay, now we are kind of stuck in that loop mentality, but the idea now is you got to learn how to do like a chorus with like a different cymbal, right? A different sound on the ride, and if you don't like that necessary symbol, there's tons of samples you can find. Really, the more agreeable one is the 808. What did I do? I was on it. But that idea that now if you're going to like just program something, that's your chorus, yes. Right. So as this is running, right. So cheesy, but like, yeah, that chorus is like, the difference between the verse and the chorus is a ride cymbal. You know what I mean? So now if I want to go to the verse, 5, 4, 3, 2, so it should change. Like your verse chorus is as easy as just putting a hi-hat and a ride cymbal, And the other thing you can get out of is when you go to the chorus, right? Just make sure you go to the snare drum and change it. Like if you're sitting there just making the same snare pattern, you can make like a hyper snare pattern on maybe this pattern has better snares, different things going on, right? So the development also is in the drum world not being afraid to radically change the genre, just like you're radically changing these keys. I think a lot of people fight themselves in the sense that like, oh, I made this dub track, I can't make it house now. I made this drum and bass song and I can't make it hip hop now, And it's nice because those genres kind of puzzle each other together. So it's almost natural for me while I'm writing drum and bass to like break into a hip hop break. And it's not uncommon for me in a dubstep sound thing to jump to like double time where it's like juke. And genre evolving and genre mixing, some of the best, Mr. Bill does these cool things where you're listening to like kind of like a dubstep track and it turns into house kind of somehow. So a lot of good artists are bending these rules because it keeps the listener guessing what's going to happen next, okay? And sometimes when I write under pressure, it's just simple, silly stuff. But what I'm trying to show you is how to build yourself a space in your house that has a couple boxes that can quickly write a drum beat, a genre of music, and quickly have another box that you can play a couple notes into. It doesn't matter the complexity of the machine. As long as it can keep a couple notes that are in the key that you're playing in, you can start to play with another synth over top of it, And we're talking about how to get out of a loop. So how to get out of a loop is like write something and then put something else on the next part, put something else on the next part. And then by that fourth one, you better throw a whole different drum thing or like a different drum feel. And like, I would say a chord change by that third time, right? Because we're in the first time right now, in the second time, I've kind of showed you a couple patterns. And then I wrote a third time with the ride cymbal. But now we would pick like a whole different key change and we would go somewhere else and your music would start to evolve because it's not just staying in the same kind of pattern grid, right? Now, this takes a little bit time to get used to, and my friend and me were talking last night, and I think what we were joking about is he said it takes like an hour to warm up. So now that I've been writing this has been like probably 30 minutes. 35 minutes, and I'm getting warmed up, and it's the sense that now when I start writing my next thing, it's probably going to be like even cooler because I'm not like on stream or paying attention, and I'm trying to always like be as open-minded when I stream as possible, that I'm not trying to control what's going to happen. Because in my studio, I don't do that. Like I just start making music, I don't give myself this like, oh, you can't do X, Y, or Z. I just give myself the idea that I can do whatever I want. So now I'm kind of showing you, I'm being kind of vulnerable, and I'm just loading a DX kit up, which is Oberheim. I just load all the old vintage drum sounds. That's something else, cowbell, hi-hat. And again, I'm going as like fast as I can. I'm going to make it a shaker. And then hopefully I can find a hat. Yep. All right. And I'm going to pitch that one up a little bit because it's a little, yep. And I always pitch things up a little bit. And then I'm going to pick a different ride cymbal because that one kind of sucks. Yeah. And if it's a little too long, you can put reverb and you can clip it a little. So again, I'm just like really quickly, you know, if I'm in my studio and you're hanging out with me, this is like literally how easy. And that's envelope generator. So I just recorded the envelope moving. It's that quick. Not to fool anybody, but like, yeah, there's nothing, you know, and this is like as fast as I could write a beat. Now, if I was going to stick to the B flat, you know, which I can totally do. You just got to pick sounds that actually are loud enough. So it's like literally, you don't have to even, you can just write it fast to make accidents. Shorten it. Now I'm going to make it 4 bars. Right? I mean, this is just right in the house. Three, 2. So let's start over. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4. Okay, I'm going to stop right there. So live record your friend. Accidents are cool. Picking a key signature and writing in it. This is, I'm doing the same thing I was doing before. This is a break beat at 105. And I just played everything, and now we could reduce down, you know? This is the idea that, like, if you're writing stream of consciousness and you're not blocking your brain, you need to just learn how to write and keep writing and keep writing. And you feel like, oh, okay, that pattern was cool. Cool, I like that pattern. You know what? It's blank again. Guess what? I'm not joking. Like 72, yes. Arm, track. I'm not even in B now. I'm in C, you know. I just changed up that fast. You know, Like the idea that like if writing a pattern in a different genre and stuff like that is that tough, then I think you need to go back to making beats. And then if like playing a couple chords is really tough, then you need to go back and practice playing chords. And then if like plugging all your stuff in is really hard, then you got to have a day where you practice just syncing your devices. Like you can't come to a day like this if you haven't spent time doing all the little work that it takes to get to this spot. So I think when people see me write this fast, Electron really entertains the thought that you're writing music live right now in real time. And the modular does that for me too. That's why I use it. Teenage Engineering, they do that for me. That's why I use it. The 303 does that for me. That's why I use it. So I would tell anybody that if you're like having writer's block or you're not like getting out of loops and you're not having fun trying to write like the next thing, then it's like the things you're using are blocking you, you know? And the block is like you don't have all your instruments set up right, where you like, the reason I use modulars, they can only make so many sounds. They're not like a infinite plug-in soundscape that you just keep going. You know, you're limited to the sounds you have. And, you know, sometimes like giving yourself limitations makes way better music. So I don't know what's going to help anybody get out of like stuck in loops. What I would say is go back to practicing making multiple genres of drum beats. And then when you're just making a loop in the house and you're bored, change genres right then. Switch it. You know, don't even think twice. Don't even pick a new key. Go another way. You know, like, and then after you've done that for a little bit, you think 6-8 minutes you've been looping it, and guess what? Go and do something completely different. Like, don't just stay there. And if you have like 20 minutes to make music, maybe try to shoot for 3 genres as quick as you can, loops in those different patterns. And then after you practice that long enough, the development will come. And I think like that's some of the work that it takes. I don't write music, I think, for the fame, ? You know, we all want to make money off of the thing we love to do, but I want to educate. Like, I love teaching people, and I love the idea that when I make music, it makes me happy. So I'm going to make music until my ears fall off or my hands don't work anymore or I can't see. And that's kind of where I'm at with making music. I do it in the morning to enjoy myself with coffee. I enjoy talking to people on stream, whether they have the same opinion of me or whether they have a different opinion. That's fine too. I like hearing from people. Some people were complaining about TE stuff. Man, their support gets back to me in like a day. You know, they're such a big company. They get back to me very fast. And they update things and they listen. So I just like, you know, Electron, same way. You know, there's a lot of forums where you can go and talk to some of these people that are designing this gear. And especially in these smaller companies, man, you can request firmware updates, and there was all kinds of stuff you can ask for. So I would say getting involved a little deeper may unlock a little bit more of your potential. And then, you know, look at that as the road ahead of you instead of like, oh, I just want to be good at making music. Well, I want to be good at making music. I'm not always the greatest, but the road to practice is what it's going to take to really get you there. So today's lesson was trying to get out of a little bit of a loop. Hopefully I showed you why I do modal interchange. Hopefully I showed you that I just, instead of writing the same pattern, I just kept making different genres and jumping through. I try to do that in small amounts of time. And then I try to talk about the reductive technique and the additive technique. So if you're using a DAW, you could, you know, make one element, then make a new scene, make 2 elements, make a new scene, make 3 elements. That's additive. If you want to do the reduce, you just make all the crap at once, throw it at the wall, and then you start pulling things away and making new recordings. So hopefully this is going to get you out of a space where you're not comfortable making music. And the thing that I talked about today was modal interchange. So modal interchange, I talk about this a lot. It comes from One Studio, I think is the channel on YouTube. They're one of my favorite. They call it the Kush chord. So if you look up Kush chord on YouTube, you will find the video. And I'll tell you, Adam does a great job at breaking it down. He goes very fast for some people that don't know chords, so you might have to like pause the video and write it down. But this may help you break the barrier of writing just the same thing you write all the time. And, you know, I just did a 2-3-1 in B flat. I didn't do anything else. But hopefully today was a good mapping of, like I said, how to make music and how to get a little bit outside of yourself, practice different genres, practice making different patterns, try, reductive technique, try additive technique, and try a couple different key signatures. If you want to comment, leave me a comment. If you want to like and subscribe the videos, you're allowed to do that too. And I'm always here to be a pillar of knowledge and help. If you're getting stuck in writing, if you need a website to go to, you need a chart or a book to study, let me know. I'm out here. I'm hanging out. Yeah, and I've been writing some music in the studio with a really amazing band. We're secretly becoming a band. I don't know. Who knows? There's 4 people that play with me. I think secretly we're all writing different things, but I write with a lot of people now. I'm having a lot of fun. And hopefully there's more music from me and others that I share my trade with. And hopefully we're going to share that with you guys soon. So hopefully you get to see more of what I do. This is, like I said, me just writing in front of everybody, being fast and quick and trying to give you ideas. The music I do make is a little bit deeper than this, so I can't wait to share what I've been writing. And today is Monday. Today is the January 27th. It is... Is that what time it is, man? I feel like I'm losing my mind. Today, 5:17. I woke up late today because I was up mixing music late into the night. So hopefully everybody's doing good. I hope there's good vibes in the universe. If you don't feel like you're feeling good because of what you read or what you see, you know what? Pull yourself outside of that bubble. I've not been on social media. I've not been on the news, and I've been trying not to read anything. I've been just trying to be creative. I took the dog to the pet store and I gave her a bath today, and I saw some people that I haven't seen in a minute. So I've been trying to just stay in a good headspace and stay off of the same thing. You don't realize you're training yourself when you watch the same website and you do the same thing and you complain about the same this issue and the same that. It's because you're stuck in this little bubble of like that same one thing. So this, I think, is what happens when you get stuck in a loop. You're a little too focused because you wrote this one thing and then you're like, I'm stuck. It's like, well, just do the next thing. Just write another genre right then. Next thing. Do the thing that you would do the least right then. Surprise yourself, because this may turn into a beautiful and wonderful musical journey. So, yeah, hopefully that was fun today. Hopefully I showed you ideas and how to get out of, or how to make different, how to make different patterns and stuff like that. If you need anything, like I said, give me an email, let me know. I don't know how cheesy that last one was. It was probably pretty bad. They've all been pretty cheesy, But like I said, I just keep writing different, patterns. When I wrote last night, the Lin drum. Leave you with my Apex house track. Thing is have fun, like literally. If you're not having fun, go take a run, go do some yoga, go get a pet. I got fish, I got a dog, I got a cat. They inspire the crap out of me. My family inspires me, my friends inspire me, this channel inspires me. I don't know. I'm just trying to be out there having a good time and making people enjoy, But it takes a lot of time, it takes some dedication. Sometimes you feel like you're never going to get there, And then all of a sudden, you hit this spot where you're like, oh my God, I'm actually starting to write not bad music, my sounds. Like, it's not a joke. I do things like this all the time, you know? Because it makes it a little cooler in the mix. And I'll change the pitch of stuff. I'll put reverb on it. Shit, I'll put distortion on something. Like I said, I just try to find sounds and samples that make me feel good, right? That was almost a song right there, right? Sorry. Sorry, I hope that shows you that that's like, and the way you mix these things is how it becomes a song instead of just sitting in front of your computer with like your face kind of stuck, you know? Like, you know, get off the feed too. You know, those feeds that just like the internet has, man, those things like really drain your brain of creative energy. You know, you got to go walk out in the woods. You got to go wash your car. I mean, it's like real life stuff will literally inspire me to do stuff like this. Like today I washed the car too. It made me feel good. I was in the sun. My hands were a little cold. I was wet. I was kind of like, this is silly. But it, you know, it put me in a spot. It was like, I can't wait till I'm inside and I'm warm and I'm drinking tea and I'm talking to everybody on the internet and I'm streaming, you know, making music. Because that's what I have to look forward to. So, okay, I'm going to stop streaming. Hopefully everybody's in a good mood and having a good day. So this is my positive energy out into the universe. Hopefully you got a little bit out of my modal interchange idea and writing different patterns of music. And yeah, have a good day.